Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Movers and Shakers of Paarl. Today again I'm super excited to introduce to you my guest. I've got Lizl Naude here today. The reason why Lizl is here, Lizl is an entrepreneur and Lizl also has her own company called Lilly Loompa. She'll explain a bit more about Lilly Loompa. And I just wanted to also just get a picture of what it is in the life of an entrepreneur, the do's and the don'ts, and maybe just some good advice. So, Lizl, thanks for meeting me tonight.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Miles.
Cool, man. Okay, so before we do the business thing, where's Lizl born? School, high school?
Born and bred in Paarl.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. And I went to Ebenezer Primary School.
Okay.
And I went to New Orleans Senior Secondary School.
Okay, cool. So then matric comes. Okay, any highlights of like a pageant, Miss Pageant or something?
Listen, to be quite honest, I didn't really enjoy school that much. I think I was bored. I think I wasn't stimulated in the right area. I didn't realize that I was a creative. So I slept in most of the classes.
Okay.
Yeah, and many of my friends know this. So I was a bit of a late bloomer when it came to my creativity.
Okay.
But I think a highlight of my high school career was I was chosen to be the editor of the newsletter. Okay. And the newsletter was our own project. So it was a new project that we started. Okay. And that was called Yuritais. Yuritais meaning young ones.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I can't remember really from which country the name Yuri comes. But that was quite exciting. I think I had an opportunity to let my voice be heard. It got me into a bit of trouble.
Of course.
But yeah, I've always just known that, I need to speak out when things are not entirely right. Yeah. So that was one of my highlights.
Okay, cool. So just quickly, now that you are entrepreneur, and there also talks outside about entrepreneurship at school. How do you think it's something that should be brought in?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. I think in a way, we're not gearing kids for real life, and we've got that way of thinking of you need to get a job, you need to go work for someone. But I think I always speak to my kids. I want them to, because in a sense I'm a pioneer in my family, because I don't have a lot of ones that came before me that I can actually go and ask, listen, what do I do?
Okay, quickly, so Lizl is in matric. What's happening? Am I straight into working, or am I straight into...
No, go with the flow. No plan.
Okay.
I wanted to study interior designing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my parents couldn't afford to send me to go and study. So I opted to go work. So immediately after matric, I started working. Okay. I became a waitress, and when I became bored of that, I just decided, okay, I'm just going to stay at home, and lounge on my parents. Yeah. And but they were actually okay with it for a while.
Wow, nice parents.
And then, and for a while, that was basically what I did until my parents they have a cottage at the back. Okay. And one day a tenant knocked at the door. And he's a familiar face of Paarl. His name is Harlan Kluter. Okay. And he basically invited me one day and said, listen, why don't you come over? We run a community center. Wow. Just come and see what we're doing, you know, instead of just lounging here at home. So I thought, okay. But anyway, the next day, the curiosity got the best of me. And I went to Koinonia.
Okay.
And I never looked back.
Nice. Okay.
I ended up staying there. I became a volunteer. I worked for the center. And in a sense, I found myself. I found my purpose. The whole 2-3 years that I was there changed my life, changed the course of my life. I met my husband there. So I was fed spiritually. I was challenged on all levels, you know, and words like vision and purpose and goal setting became my normal vocabulary. And I'm always, you know, grateful for that experience. And I always say I wish all youngsters could have that kind of setup, you know, just being stimulated in an environment like that, you know, just to, and even if you don't know off the get-go what your purpose is, but at least you're working towards it, or you're writing down goals. So sorry, and then I think after I was there for about 3-4 years, I think, and then I started working in the corporate environment.
Okay.
As a PA and an events coordinator.
Okay. Before Lilly Loompa, where were you in your life before you decided, okay, I need to start my own thing? Where were you in Paarl? What were you doing? Were you still lounging around? Okay.
Yeah, I was living in Paarl with my parents.
Okay.
Working in Durbanville at Santam head office.
Okay. All right.
So I was traveling in and out.
Okay.
And then, but by then Ashley and I were already together as a couple, and we got married quite young.
Okay.
I was 24 when I got married.
Okay.
So then I moved out of Paarl. We went to the northern suburbs and we stayed there.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So, where does Lilly Loompa come into your life? When was the thing? What was that moment? That moment where you said, okay, this is something I want to do.
Okay. So it's quite Lilly Loompa has actually got a long history. So I was married a year and a half.
Okay.
5 months. We were married for 5 months. I already felt bored at work. In fact, I just became unhappy, unfulfilled, and
purpose, no real purpose. Yeah.
I couldn't live out, you know, who I was at work, because it was so structured, and you know, I'm not a structured person. I can be, and I have to be,
but it's boring.
Yeah, I know. So in general, you know, you as creatives, we need that outlet.
Totally.
And then I think I really think I was sick that day. You know, you have some times where you think you're sick and you're calling, so you know you don't want to come to work. But I was off sick for the day, and eventually my husband came home the evening, and I cooked food. But we were living in a duplex. Yeah. And I was actually too lazy to go up and come down again. So here I am carrying 2 plates of food, and then I put the mail under my arm. You know, have like my hands full, and I go up the stairs, and I realize as I'm going up the stairs that I forgot something, and I basically twist to go back down, and I slip, and I fall on the tile, the second or the third tile, which is the stairs, which are tiled, and the rest of the stairs are carpet, and I almost break my back.
No.
So I'm on the floor, and Ashley's watching the news, but it's super loud, so you can't hear me.
And the food is all over the place.
The food, spaghetti bolognese, on the floor. And I try and get his attention, but the news, the channel is so loud, so he can't hear me. And I muster up all the strength that I could. And eventually he comes down the stairs, and he flies over me, and he falls in the food. So he slips in. And both of us are down. And I remember I couldn't move. I felt like my lower body was, you know. And he manages to get me dressed, and we go to the emergency room. And I remember it so clearly, because the doctor, you know, he asked me, you know, he's writing down, and he's saying, okay, so how long have you been married? So we say, 5 months. And he says, wow, do you have kids? And I'm like, no. And he says, wow, it was this close, and you could have been paralyzed.
Wow.
So I was basically booked off for 6 to 8 weeks, I think.
Okay.
So I broke the wings of my lower vertebrae, so that to grow back and all of that. So I was stuck in bed.
Okay.
And I was so bored.
Okay.
I think in the 4th week, I got into my car and I drove to the closest arts and crafts store.
Okay.
And I bought some beads
Okay.
and things. And I started just sitting in bed making jewelry. And then when it was time to go back to work, I started wearing my pieces.
Okay.
And then all my colleagues were, oh wow, can I please have one?
Okay.
And then initially the business was called something different. But after a while, my orders became so many that I was sitting up at night,
Wow,
completing
nice.
orders.
Okay.
So I needed to find a name for my business. So I think I was doing this part-time thing for about 8 months.
Okay.
And then my husband, being a planner,
Yeah.
said, okay, is this what you want to do? So I said, yeah, sure. I don't want to work in this office anymore.
Yeah.
So we sort of sat down. We had
Okay.
a plan. So eventually I resigned. So the name Lilly Loompa, I remember it took me weeks to get a name. And I remember, I think one of my last trips for work was to the KKN car.
Okay.
And I remember in this guest room that it was thunder and lightning and stuff. And I wrote down all the possible names that I could. And then I decided, because I started being creative when I was about 13, 14. I used to take my mom's old jewelry or her belts or her earrings, and I used to make pieces with it. So I decided to build a name around my youth.
Okay.
So Lilly was my nickname.
Okay.
Because some of my cousins couldn't say Lizl.
Okay. Okay.
And Loompa comes from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
the
cool.
Loompas.
Okay,
That
that
was
is
my
so
favorite,
cool.
my favorite book.
Yeah.
So Lilly Loompa stuck. So that was in 2004. So over the years, she has gone through a lot of transformation. At one stage, so I quit the jewelry business.
Okay.
After my first daughter was born, and then I went to study interior decorating.
Okay.
I qualified, and then I ran with that business for a while, because we also had a construction business.
Okay.
But I think I always knew it's going to be a creative umbrella company. So it's got a long history, but this specific business, the eco product business, was started officially in 2016.
Okay. So we are, what's the math?
2018.
2018, so we're 2 years old.
Yeah, about 20 months.
Yeah.
I think about September it will be 2 years.
Yeah. So why the attachment to recycling? Is it something?
I think I've always had that inherent thing to use what is around me.
Okay, perfect.
As a youngster, but more so when my husband and I went through a few years of financial difficulties. We had some setbacks. Our first setback was over 10 years ago.
Okay.
We were living in Cape Town. So we basically lost our construction business. We lost all our assets. Yeah, that was the first setback.
Wow.
Yeah.
The first of how many?
Of 4.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll only survive one.
Yeah, well, I didn't think I could survive one, but through God's grace, I'm here.
Okay.
But so eventually in 2010, my husband literally hears God say, you need to move to Joburg.
Okay.
And but my first reaction was, no way.
Yeah.
So I like Joburg to visit, but I don't want to go live there.
Yeah.
So long story short, we moved up just before the World Cup.
Okay.
The hype, and excitement. So it was a brilliant time to move. But in essence, it was a start of a 7-year journey away from home. And while we were there, we went through many, many setbacks. And I think one of the last two was where we literally had an empty home. We were burgled. Our things were taken several times. My car was stolen. So we literally had an empty home.
Wow.
And I had to think of, where are we going to sit tonight? We need to have supper at a table. So I built my first table with the planks and things that I had outside.
Okay.
And
Now I get it.
And people would say, oh yeah, I have this in the backyard. Come and get this and come and get that. So that was how I started. I started building furniture.
Okay.
And small tables and lamps, etc. And yeah, but it was still a sideline. So I used to I still have a blog.
Yeah.
So I used to update the blog once a week with the DIY project of what I did over the week. And my whole idea was to show people that you don't have to have, loads of money.
Yeah, new stuff in the house.
Yeah, and you can still have, presentable, nice space that you like. And then people started noticing it, so I would have TV stations call me and say, listen, come tell the viewers how to make a nursery or whatever. And then I used to write for magazines as well. But it was still a sideline. It wasn't paying the bills. And we literally were hustling to keep, food on the table.
Lights on, water running.
Because there was just no income.
Jeez Louise, wow.
Yeah. So I came to a point in 2015. I joined a women's network. I'm still part of the network. And I remember the founder, we had a meeting and she said to me, okay, this is it. You've got the interior business and you've got your product business. You need to make a decision. And I remember I felt so torn. I was like, I want to do both. And she said, for this season in your life, you need to focus on this one. Yeah. So I took her advice. I went through some serious wrestling for a few months, just dealing with everything that has happened to us. And I basically told myself September in 2015. I sat myself down and I said, listen, focus. I am not happy with you. You need to pull up your socks. And next year this time you need to be on another level.
Nice.
And I wrote down my goals and I worked hard, and believe it or not, Miles, on the exact same day that I had the discussion, I launched Lilly Loompa Eco products. And I didn't know it. Only a few days after, I realized, wow, the 12th of September is the exact same date I spoke to myself the year before. So there's so much power in, words.
Yeah, of course,
and I think I spoke life into my situation. And I just refused to stay where I was. I knew I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So I officially decided on 12 September 2016, this is what I'm gonna do.
Nice. But I mean, it's like when you, when you're at the edge and you have to make something happen, you make it happen. It's like, it's different story if you have it's a sideline type of thing, but now you're at that break point where you say, then you make it happen. I think in my case it wasn't a sideline because I didn't have an income. So in a way it could be that it was easier for me to make that decision. I know a lot of people struggle with that. Part-time entrepreneurs, they always say, when do you know when it's the right time? 100%.
But I didn't have that kind of thing. It was basically, I think it was part of God's plan steering me into the space where I needed to be at that low point. However, I was really at a low point for the first time in all my years being married to my husband, us living our life. I realized that I was depressed. And when I had that talk with myself.
Wow. And so if someone had to ask you, what is your biggest lesson that you've learned in being an entrepreneur? And what is the one characteristic you must have for entrepreneur to succeed? What would it be from your experience?
Tenacity. Tenacity, determination, definitely. I don't think, for me, I feel you shouldn't be a fly by night. And you should, when you take on this journey, you should be prepared for it for the long haul. Because very few people have the case of being profitable from the first 3 months.
100%,
So I think sometimes people are unrealistic, and then they decide to quit, and then after 6 months they say, oh my goodness, I can't pay my bills. So I've always been of the opinion that if this is what you want to do, start simplifying your life by cutting down on your expenses and your debts. So your monthly expense is not that huge. So it's easier for you to say, okay, I'm going to quit my job because this is manageable. I can manage this. And have a plan and put away some money for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
So that you know you have that cushion. And that gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And the biggest lesson, wow, Miles, for me, don't give up. You know, that those words, giving up is not part of my vocabulary.
Yeah.
I do have, my husband corrected me the other day. I said on Facebook that, you know, on the days that I get tired, I have to remind myself. Or I said on the days that I want to give up, I need to remind myself why I'm doing this. And he said, just say on the days that you get tired. Because I don't necessarily want to give up. I just sometimes get tired because it doesn't always happen as fast as you want it to happen. But I can just testify that I've been really blessed. The business is growing. And in a sense, it's something new. Not everyone is familiar with the kind of thing that I do.
100%, because it's fairly new, like you're saying. I was interested or curious to know, so where do you get your recycled products?
The material.
The waste. Where do you get your waste?
Okay, so if exactly a year ago, I started developing the tuna can. The product. I started developing that. In fact, I got the idea when we moved back. We came from Joburg, lush Joburg. Rain, you know, and green. And I get here and everyone's like, oh, it's drought. And I thought, you know, how can I bring greenery on my desk without having to water it? So my first design was a little cactus, you know, and initially it was on a pecan. So eventually, after a few weeks, I thought, no, the pecan is not practical, so let me do the tuna can. The problem was I couldn't find tuna cans. No one was eating tuna. I would ask my family, I would ask people, and they say, no, tuna's too expensive, we don't buy. I went to restaurants, and that was quite frustrating. I was looking for, and I knew that there are sources. I contacted several tuna canning companies. And they were like, no, we don't have waste. So that's generally what I do. I generally see what kind of waste is usable, and then I look for the sources of where I could find it. Like I will go to canning companies. So now a year later, I can safely say that source is sorted. So now I work with, for instance, a company called Averda.
The waste company.
The waste company.
Okay, so you source it from them. So
I literally call them and I say I need cans, and then they...
because you need volume. You need I need 40 or 50 cans.
And they, within 2-3 days, they collect 1,000 plus cans.
Nice. So you don't pay for your material in the beginning.
No,
that's so cool.
my whole idea is to eliminate certain waste material. Excuse me, at this stage I'm not able to work with wet waste or paper because I haven't developed products in that area.
But that's also all mushy.
This is a dirty job. It really is not a glamorous job. And I do still get weird looks because I'm always fascinated with shapes and things, and as I drive, color or things that will catch my eye, and usually I pick it up, not knowing what I'm going to do with it, but it will lie in my workshop until I know what to do with it. I'll have a light bulb moment.
Now, what is Lizl's 5-year plan? Where do you see a Lilly Loompa in 5 years?
My goal is firstly to create employment. That is my goal for this year specifically.
Nice.
We're hoping to change people's lives, and positively affect families and youngsters. And then secondary is addressing the waste problem in a creative way and adding value to a piece of waste and giving it a new life, because in a sense that's symbolic of where I've been through and our family's been through. We've literally been on the rubbish dumper.
Yeah, like you. Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I mean that's
significant.
Where, it's really symbolic.
And you can relate to someone being in that position.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So we getting not a second lease, but I mean we being restored after losing so much, and that's why I think the products are quite symbolic of that. So it all ties in together, and it's safe to say that our life's purpose is to restore.
So where do you get your products? How do we get hold of Lilly Loompa's products? Where do we see the products?
Okay, so I'm in a few stores. I'm in Franschhoek in a few shops.
Okay.
Arc Franschhoek, Decor Africa.
Okay.
Also in Franschhoek.
Nice.
In Stellenbosch, I'm at the tourist shop.
Okay.
And then I've recently signed Table Mountain, so you'll find my products at the shop on the top.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then at the waterfront as well, at the watershed.
Okay. Nice. Oh, those small cute.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And KWV Emporium, the wine emporium here in Paarl as well. Yeah. So I'm constantly looking at
really nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to get my online shopping platform done.
Okay.
The e-commerce, and always looking for new opportunities.
Wow.
I do corporate gifting as well.
Nice.
So corporates will call me and say, okay, we need our logo on one of your products. So yeah.
Really cool. I like the fact that it's in shops.
Yeah.
Now then you know you're doing something right. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have the Instagram, you have the Facebook, you have the Twitter, and you've got the website.
Loompa.
Okay.
And the website is www.lillyloompa.com.
Okay, everything really registered. Domain is yours. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So if you need guidance or if you need a soundboard, what avenues do you use?
Okay, so I have a few mentors.
Okay.
And I was looking for them, and then they came to me because I realized through all my years of being in business, that was the one thing that was missing. There wasn't anyone to guide me and give me advice. So I've purposefully, in fact, when someone impresses me in a specific area, I've become very bold. I asked him, straight out.
Wow, okay.
Do you mind mentoring me in this area because you're good at that?
Yeah.
And people are surprisingly open to that. I've had a few people saying, no, I don't have time, which I get. But even an hour every 2 months, can make a huge difference. So I have a few mentors. I have one that's in Malaysia.
Okay.
I was chosen for a program with the Sherry Blair Foundation.
Okay.
So it's a year-long program, and it's a virtual program.
Yeah.
So we are supposed to connect at least twice a month.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And then I've been chosen for another program where it's a program with a local organization called the CDI and the CBI. The CDI is in Cape Town and the CBI is the Dutch Embassy.
Right.
And it's a year-long program to get my business and my product to become export ready, specifically for the European market.
Nice, okay.
So I've been part of that program since February.
Right.
And the nice thing is I've got a mentor in South Africa and I've got one in Amsterdam, and they've all same virtual. We have a few with a Cape Town mentor. I can have a one-on-one now and then, but it's mostly virtual.
Right.
Because it's just practical.
Yeah.
More practical. And then I have a few other mentors as well. Yeah. Like an ex-colleague of mine. I ran into him in Tiger Valley last year.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen each other in like 15 years or so.
Nice.
And he's a brilliant mind when it comes to branding. And I challenged him. I said, take me on as one of your projects. And he said, okay, cool.
That is so cool.
So people are quite open. But I would say a word of advice to, young entrepreneurs starting out. get someone and find someone that you resonate with, you know, someone that you click with, and someone that understands. And it doesn't necessarily have to be someone in your field. In fact, then you get a more objective
100%
opinion and viewpoint. So that's been quite helpful.
No, of course, because some people have gone through exactly what you're going through, so they can just put you in the right direction. I see you brought me a gift. Oh, cool. Africa's continent. That's like my favorite. Isn't it like this is so cool.
So this is the tuna can.
The
product I told you that I started developing last year, and this is my most popular product. So I developed it for the tourists specifically.
So cool.
So the icon, you slot in there, so you can use it for your paper clips, for on your desk. Your wife can use it on a dressing table. So I've got different icons, and the nice thing is these fit inside. So when you're traveling, specifically for the tourists, it's safe, it's lightweight, and
this is such a cool gift. This is like one in a million gift you give someone. This is so cool. Thanks. And I always said I wanted an Africa tattoo somewhere on my body. But it's too sore. I don't.
How do you know it's sore?
Because everybody says it's sore, and of course you got YouTube.
Well,
stuff.
At least you can look at Africa now, and look at South Africa
with a heart.
With a little heart.
This is so nice, man. Thanks so much. This is so cool.
It's a pleasure.
Lizl, thanks so much for chatting to me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'm a bit inspired now because of your story. No,
that's what I want. I want people to draw hope from my story. Don't be sad about what happened to me. It's made me a stronger person. It's given me something to talk about. So don't give up. I just want people to know that you know, whatever you're going through could be your biggest blessing in a way, and choose to take the good from the experience. And I mean, I know that I can't say that I've gone through the worst thing ever. So there are lots of people going through much worse things. But cool. just stay hopeful. Don't give up. And follow your heart. Follow your purpose.
Thanks so much, madam. This is so cool.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.